what I thought would be super helpful and informative is if you, like me, are wanting to gear up your vehicle for the overlanding life, we give you a couple of helpful tips and pointers. I knew nothing about it, I probably still don't, which is why I came to Ryno and the guys at Sport, the experts. And I thought the best place to start is from the ground up. We've got the right tires with our general Grabber ATXs, but now you've got shocks and suspension. Am I right, Ryno, in the thought process that is where you start?
Yeah, definitely. You must remember, what a lot of people don't realize is that is the safety of everybody in that vehicle. Your tires, your suspensions, and your steering, everything plays a role. That is what's keeping you safe and on the road.
So how was I actually on the road? Because those shocks were shocking. I mean, were they shocks?
It's nice that you call them shocks. There was actually just two pieces of metal sliding past each other.
Do you see this often though? Because I'm in the motoring game, I should know, but I don't know, like every 80,000 k's is when you should be replacing them. I think you think the guys are going to do that when they service the car, but they don't always.
Yeah, it's something you should know, but it's also something that you don't always think about, because as you drive, you don't always hear what's happening underneath. So people don't actually, notice it when something is wrong. They only notice when the vehicle is swaying or there's a massive bounce in the vehicle. Then they realize, okay, done 200,000 k's with these shocks, now they feel it's time. But rule of thumb, shocks 70 to 90,000 k's. Even if you look at most of the shock warranties, it's either 3 years or 60,000 k's, whichever comes first.
Okay.
Your leaf springs, your coil springs, depending on what torsion bars, depending on what suspension your vehicle has, and of course they have different through the years. They tend to last a bit longer, 100,000 kilometers plus. Shocks is something that should be maintained.
It was amazing when we drove in. You noticed straight away when you looked at the car, you go, your shocks haven't been done because it was sitting so low. It looks amazing now. We've got a 50mm lift on there. Is that standard?
It differs from vehicle to vehicle. Every vehicle also reacts different to the suspension. It depends on how old the suspension is, how much it's sagged, because it's not the shocks that made yours sagged, it's actually the coils.
Okay.
Now, if you look at this coil, there's two parts of a suspension. Okay. There's the coils and the shock. Now the coils give you the lift and keep your vehicle up. And the shock actually is what it does. It's a shock absorber. That's for when you drive, hitting the potholes and driving South African roads and that kind of stuff. So what happened is your coils sagged through all the years of carrying the whole body and driving and working with the shocks. On yours, I actually think we've got a bit more, because usually what happens, it'll take it to normal standard height and then lift it past. If you take it when that vehicle was new, we would have gotten a 50mm lift from there. One thing that you must remember, and this is crucial what people don't think about, if you do an aftermarket suspension on your vehicle, you must always remember what your plan is with the vehicle. If you're just going to drive around,
to make it look like a street cred, but you're only pavement hopping.
Exactly, no. Then the coil rating is crucial on this, because if you overspec it, you're going to drive hard. If you underspec it, you're going to waste your time.
Okay, so just so I understand this in mind, so you look at my car and say, right, what are we doing on this? Are we loading this? We're putting rooftop tent. What might we be doing? And then you'll look at what the load rating is on that coil.
If you look at all your aftermarket coils, they all have a different spec rating. For instance, you get a comfort coil, then a medium duty coil that's standard plus 150 k's, and then a load coil that's say standard plus 300 k's. So it's always important to work out what you're going to do with it,
Okay.
And then do the proper coil spec rating so that the weight carrying capacity is there, but you don't drive too hard.
Generally what I do with cars anyway is I always drop tire pressure, because what is recommended for me is too firm. You can get away with it. So the tire itself is also a great shock absorber, but if you've got that right setting. Now, for us, you've gone and you've suggested Tough Dog.
Yes.
Why?
If you go research them, you'll see they're one of the leading brands in Australia, if not the leaders. And what makes them nice, they have foam cell shocks. So it's just that step up, and it gives you the softest ride that you'll get in an aftermarket shock is a foam cell shock. We always get great lift out of the vehicles, great response from the vehicles, great feedback from people. Like I say, it's a well-known and respected brand. Each vehicle, if you look at through the years, if you look at, say, vehicles pre-2000, they were all solid axles, so you had leaf springs in front and back. Yeah. After that, for the next 5 years, they all had torsion bars.
Yeah.
We just had your two shocks and your torsion bars in front with your leaf springs at the back. From 2012 upwards, they all went with the McPherson strut shocks, where the coil and the shock is one thing.
Okay.
No? So if you look at it in their range, they have adjustable shocks, which work great if you do extreme different terrains from normal tar road to sand dunes, then mountains. So you can adjust the setting of how hard you want to drive. For yours, we just went for the normal one.
Yeah, please, because I'm not very mechanical. Don't go.
It's still just left and right. I just say. No. So for yours, we just went for the normal one with the correct coil rating to carry everything that we plan around your vehicle.
Cool. Well, guys, hopefully you found that informative. And like I said right up front, it is the best place to start. Now, we made a joke with Ryno, and he's known me for a while now, and so do you guys. I'm not very mechanically minded. I can drive it, just don't ask me to fix it. And that's probably a recipe for disaster when you are going off the beaten track. So what we thought we'd do is that they're going to try and help me to survive on this trip. This is Bush Mechanic. This for me is so key, because you also now walking it, you know what sort of speed you need to come through. What does the exit look like?
Exactly.
It could be a cliff.
Exactly. So what's on the other side? Where am I going to stop?
Yeah.
What am I going to need to get from there to there? Because a lot of guys will get there and stop and then get out and look. It's too late. You need to have planned your obstacle from beginning to end, imprint that here and go, right, I'm going first gear, second gear, low range, diff lock on, and I'm going to stop over there. Because if you stop on top here, now you've got a trailer on and you've got to reverse down this.
No. You see, one of the things we are doing is recovery. I just don't want to do recovery now, right in the beginning of this whole experience.
How much money are we going to put on it?
No, listen. No, I know.
But it has rained.
Yeah, it's hard.
It is hard.
I'm going to walk.
However, our tyres are still hard.
Yeah.
Okay. Which you're doing on purpose.
Okay.
All right. So that's where we want to end up.
Rock standard four-wheel drive. As it is, tyre pressures are mine are sitting at 2.2, 2.3.
Yeah, we're getting stuck for
So
sure.
we're going to get stuck. And this is where we learn about it, because then we get to drop our tyre pressure and see the difference. And that's what we're after. That's experiential learning.
Okay, so the one thing, and you will know this because we heard it, is you took your foot off the accelerator, you blipped it halfway up instead of just planting it and keeping going. Because as soon as you come off, your whole traction control system resets. Okay? Whereas if you're holding it constant, it can think. All right.
What's the plan now? Go back.
Go back, because you ain't going to go forward.
No. Let's go.
So what you did there, obviously getting through there now, you did it at high speed.
Yeah.
Okay, you take Noord, which is not ideal. The best 4x4s that are out there are people that can do any of these obstacles
at low
as
speed.
slow as possible. Why? You've got a trailer on the back, you've got your dogs inside, you don't want to damage things, a bottle of wine, you don't want to be bouncing around, okay? You're wanting to do this carefully and slowly. So what I want to do now is I want to get back into the hole.
Yeah.
Well, before the hole, we're going to deflate. And we're going to see how slow you can do it. Because slow and controlled means that you're not going to break anything.
But I mean, there with the high pressures, I needed the speed, did I not?
Correct, yeah, because we were playing
with
high pressures, which is not the right way to do it, okay? We just wanted to get a feel for it. I want you to get a feel for trying to do it slowly.
Now, you know what's quite cool? Obviously, we've gone and put a compressor in the car. LA Sports said you need it, and it makes sense, because you go and do this, and then what? I'm going to go drive to the nearest garage.
Correct.
You know, and having a tire pressure monitor as well, because we never think about that when we're out. And overlanding, it's mixed terrain in a day, you know, so it's not going to be sand all day. So being able to optimize, what I mean, can I drive at 1.8 as standard before I go with the trailer?
Yes, you can.
Would that make sense?
You can, it's not a
It's a
problem.
more comfortable ride anyway.
Definitely, it's not a problem. Obviously, you just don't want to be driving at half a bar or 0.8 on the tar road for many, many kilometers, because you're going to start overheating the tire, because with that low pressure comes a lot of friction. A lot of friction causes heat in the tire, and it then starts to cause trouble on the inside.
Okay.
As soon as it starts getting to above 85 degrees, things like that inside the tire, which your tire pressure monitoring system will tell you, it can then start to cause bubbling and that on the inside of the materials.
What should I be dropping to in sand? Do I go here to like 0.8?
Correct. 0.8 is the optimal pressure for these ATXs with the general grabbers.
Okay, so 2.3.
Yeah.
So how does it, is this
slide that up.
Slide that up.
Oh, And I then pull it back and that'll tell me what's done.
Yeah.
It's actually flipping cool, eh?
Okay, so with the indiflator as well, you can see now you're sitting at 1.5, or just over, okay? When your vehicle's at an angle, remember there's going to be more pressure on one tire than the other.
It's leaning on that.
So when you close, just make sure you give it a second or two just to sort itself out, so that the pressure equalizes.
This might be a stupid question. We're obviously dropping 0.8 front and rear. Is there any time that you're not going to have the same tire pressures all round, like where you leave the rear harder?
Yeah, so we're going 0.8 all the way around now because you can look at your vehicle and you can see you're not heavily loaded at the back. And in your vehicle, the only place you're going to be heavily loaded is the rear. You're not going to add more to your engine. Besides, if you've got a winch and things like that, but then that's a standard thing. It's not abnormal. If you are really heavily loaded in the back, if you're going 0.8 in the front, you might go to 1 bar on the back. If you've got your trailer on the back, that's putting a lot of pressure on it.
You see, that's what I'm asking, because I'm like, now we don't have the trailer, but if I've got the trailer, in a situation like this, would you then do the trailer 0.8 as well?
Yes, I would.
So whatever I'm doing on the car, I'm going to do the same
Generally,
on it?
yes, you would.
Okay.
Because you're also wanting to make it as easy as possible for the trailer as well.
Happy. Let's do this. That sounds crazy. I mean, I've gone a meter, but you can actually feel the difference straight away. There's just, it's just got more time to bite, to do what it needs to do. It's actually incredible. It's crazy. Without even any effort. In actual fact, I probably did something bad there. I felt myself kind of lifting off the throttle, and that's what Marcus said not to do. Just kind of keep the power consistent so that the traction control system knows what's going on. But that was that's impressive, eh? It's unbelievable, eh?
No, it makes a massive difference. And when you look at the tire now, it doesn't look as though it's about to break or about to fold or about to anything. You will go anywhere like that, absolutely anywhere.
But that's, I mean, that's what Ryan was saying too with the light truck construction. Just you not, because I mean that must be something people stress about, is running that off of the rim.
Yeah.
And then what a mission to put that back on.
People generally take their tires off the rim because they're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
They're trying to be outside of the tracks, and then they bounce into the tracks because they want to take a fresh line because they think it's going to be easier. A fresh line's never going to be easier than one
Following
that
your track.
is already there, because you've compacted that sand already.
Yeah.
You've already made the line. So
it's so
stay in tracks, because if you bounce in tracks as well, it also takes all your momentum away.
Yeah.
Follow the tracks.
But you see, this for me is what people don't get to do. They actually don't get to practically understand pressures. Like you can talk about it, but unless you do something like that, there's the line in the sand, literally. You
But that's why I said to
argue
you
with that.
beforehand, let's not deflate. Let's paint that picture.
Yeah.
Slowly, slowly. We paint the picture, we do it, we practice it, and go, okay, well, this is why.
Yeah.
So you get a great feeling of the difference.
Proper, eh?
But I think what we must do now is we're going to test this now in the clay and the mud.
You just want to get dirty, eh? Tire pressures, man. So important.